Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. It's a regular meeting agenda for December 5th, 6 p.m. here at the City Council chambers. If we can have the roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the minutes will reflect that all the council members are present.
Thank you. And the next item is the invocation presented by Councilmember Hamby, and he also has a special presentation or acknowledgement.
Let's all stand if you're able. Before I pray tonight, I would like to have a moment of silence in memory and honor of longtime library board member Dixie Smith. She served on the library board as long as I've been alive. I think she was installed in like 1976 or 77. She just passed away this last week. So I'd like to have a moment of silence for her before I pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, I'm so grateful to you tonight for not only this opportunity to be here and for the crowd that's gathered here tonight, but for the life and the service that Dixie Smith offered to our city, to our library, to the youth and adults of our community. I ask that you would instill in all of us that same spirit of service to our community. I thank you for each employee of the City of Brawley. I thank you for each council member here. I thank you for each volunteer that puts in their efforts toward our community. And I thank you for each person that lives in the City of Brawley. I ask that you would give us a special blessing, that you would help us to progress as we move forward. And as we enter this most wonderful time of the year, I ask that you would fill our hearts and our homes and our community with peace and with joy and with goodwill. I ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Mr. Smearden, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public appearances, comments not to exceed 4 minutes. This is a time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you. When you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You're not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment on any item not appearing on the agenda? There is. Okay, come on up.
Good evening, Council, and thank you for allowing us this opportunity. My name is Mary Harmon, and I'm from Brawley. I'm here with quite a few of my friends. We are all pickleball players, and we are here in support or request that the city consider and actually follow through on improving the Meserve Park past tennis courts that are in terrible disarray. Our unofficial, informal leader, Janet Stills, would have been here and is just having heartbreak that she couldn't, but had a family emergency since last week, and she's over in San Diego. One of the things that the point that I wanted to bring up, because I know all of you are aware of the popularity of pickleball and how it's really caught on, and even in the cities here within the valley, we have tournaments and we have clinics, and it's all going on, and it's great guns. One of the things that as I look around the city of Brawley, we have a lot of great team sport facilities. What we are lacking are individual facilities, and that would be your tennis and your pickleball. So I would really encourage you to offer a diversity of pastimes, recreation for the citizens of Brawley, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a name to your pickleball, the
Well-
pickleball crew, or?
Well, we've been known as Dinkin' Divas, and,
All right, well,
you know,
Right.
we have a lot of different names. We just love it. And
That's
there's even been a
fantastic.
tournament, Janet organized a tournament at her,
Stills
Earlier in
Electric,
the
right?
year.
Yeah,
Huh?
absolutely, right? Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. So you might have seen us if you're
Right.
out there early in the
Yeah.
morning on 8th or 6th Street, but yeah.
Well-
Mrs. Harmon, can we get an invite to one of those tournaments? I've heard of pickleball. I don't know what it is.
Oh, and you know, and I've only been playing since November. I was late to the sport, and people can really pick it up quickly. Adults, people who aren't really quick, but, you know, I don't want to say anything about your athletic skills, but I bet you would really enjoy it. It's
All
a
right.
lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much.
you.
And that's certainly an area where we've looked at improving for a long time, especially with our funding sources. And so it's something, obviously, there were tennis courts, and yeah, there is a lot of interest in pickleball, and so we'd love to be able to see that happen, certainly. We appreciate the support. And we did talk to the city manager about that, because I know he met with several of you, and there's a lot of interest, so we appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. All right, is there anyone else? Oh, comment? Ms. Lai, all right, come on up. She's got something to share. Is this one of the divas as well? Is this, yeah, all right, there we go,
There you
all right.
Yeah,
There we go.
hello, everybody. I just wanted to mention about the funding part, because I know that's a pretty big concern for the council. And so there is grants out there, particularly now, to help with fund the pickleball courts. Also, and I don't know if this is possible, but donations can be done with nonprofit groups. And I know the police has a nonprofit group. I don't know if they can partner with us and help our cause so that we can get donations for that, and they can do help as far as funding some of these pickleball courts. And then I know that the El Centro Park and Recreation does tax dollars to help fund some of the pickleball courts that they have done. Income can come into the city if there are tournaments that we have with these pickleball courts that come out. There's lots of tournaments that have happened in Imperial and El Centro and Hopeville, and they generate income for the city. Also clinics, they've done some clinics that some of our pickleball team members have gone to. That generates money for the city. So there's lots of opportunities for the city if we can get this going. Equipment is very minimal. We just need courts.
Right,
Yeah.
Understood.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am,
Thank you very much.
ma'am, for the record, could you state your name, please?
Pardon me?
Your name, please, for the record.
Barbara Lai.
Barbara, Ms. Lai. All right, Ms. Lai, thank you very much. Great to see you. All right, is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment? Ms. Enders.
My name is Betsy Enders. I'm a former PE teacher at Brawley High School. Pickleball is a perfect way to get kids off the streets and involved. The only activities that we have for kids are either at the Lions Center, at the skate park, and we know some of the things that go on there, and at the soccer fields and in the summertime. But kids are interested in this, and this involves all levels of ages. As Barbara said, it's a very low-cost activity. All you have to do is buy a paddle and then have balls. It does not require a big team. You can play with 2 people, you can play with 3 or 4. And we want to invite you guys to come check us out. We're over at Lions Center at 7:30 in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Monday and Wednesday at 5:30.
All right.
And we even have equipment for you to use.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right.
Thanks. Betsy Enders.
Thank you very much. I had a
was,
bunch of jokes lined up for that one, but I just kept them myself, you know, I was like, but yeah. I know, right?
I was at Walmart in the clearance section. I saw a pickleball paddle for $85 in the clearance section. Is that typical? Are they that expensive?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go a lot less expensive, certainly.
Make your
Yeah.
own. There.
No.
Make my own.
No, it's,
Use a ping pong paddle.
I've certainly seen some of the equipment that's used, and it's, you know, you can get quality stuff for a lot less, so.
Okay.
It seems like a great activity for people. And in fact, some of my friends and family have started to play, so they've convinced me to try it, so we'll do that as well. Thank you again. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment on any item not appearing on the agenda? No? No public comments online? All right, thank you. So we're going to move on, and that's item 2B, presentation of third annual City of Brawley Santa Tour, December 18th through the 22nd, and that's presented by Fire Chief Mike York.
Good evening, Mayor Nama, City Council, staff, and public. It is my pleasure once again to be back here, third annual. It's nice to be starting a tradition here in our city. As you know, we used to deliver Santa just to the tree lighting ceremony, and of course with COVID, we weren't able to have a tree lighting, so we brought Santa out to our neighborhoods. We will be doing so again this year, starting December 18th. Oh no, Armando, I'm pushing the button, it's not going next.
There goes.
I got the brand new clicker. They told me not to break it, and I was afraid I did the first
You
go
were the
out.
first one.
Yeah. So Monday,
you go.
December 18th, starting at 6 p.m., we'll be starting in the northeast quadrant. We'll be going Monday through Friday this year. We've expanded it to 5 days to make sure Santa gets to as many neighborhoods as possible. These maps will be provided on the city's social medias in the next following weeks, and each night we will be posting it and letting people know where we're going to be at and approximate times. It's going to start at 6 p.m. each night. It's going to continue until we complete our routes.
Can you do the little highlight feature, the little
Oh, yeah.
spotlight feature, just so
So we're
people
going to
see?
start right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh,
This is
fancy.
totally for our city staff, and we're going to finish right there.
There we go. See, there you go. The first one to use it. Give him a round of applause. There you go. There you go.
Well, I'm thankful for Armando. This is the limit of my technological ability. We're gonna hit. So instead of all quadrants, we're splitting the city up into 5 spaces. We'll be able to go throughout all the neighborhoods. Santa will be with us. We'll be fire engine out there. We'll be playing some music, lights, and everything. So we hope the public can enjoy seeing Santa drive past their home. That these maps will allow them to coordinate with family and friends and make sure that we reach as many people as possible. And we look forward to doing this every single year now. So.
Chief York, if I could ask a question. I
Yes, sir.
remember last year we did the Santa tracker. Will that be available this year?
We can look into it. We have no plan set up for it, but if that's something that the
Yeah.
council is directing, we can
It
certainly.
was just, it
try
was
to
an
manage.
app. I remember it was just the app and it was a phone. And
I think we had a
it was
little
in
bit of
Santa's pocket, I
difficulty
think,
with
yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
if that's
Okay.
something we're
Well,
looking for, we
We
can.
can explore, let's.
We'll
let's-
explore.
take a look
If
into
it's
it.
too
Yeah.
much, then, I mean, don't,
We'll take a look.
you know?
I didn't see your map of Parkside.
Oh.
I'm just making sure you come to my house. I'm like your biggest fan. I wait out every year.
Yeah.
Me and the kids.
Get back
Sometimes
to
they
it.
quit on me. I wait for sure though. I can't see.
No, you had
Okay,
it.
now it's
You
moving
went
on
too
its
far.
own.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
That's Western Ridge, J Street. That's by Catacomb.
Oh no!
Uh-oh, we blacked out.
There you go. Nope.
I can't get it to stop on there. I'm sorry.
Okay, we reached his technological limit with.
I'm sorry, Armando. I'm pushing it. It's cycling on its own. Yeah.
There you go. Nope.
There we go.
I went one too far.
You went one too far, but if you
Yep.
stand out there, you'll see him. You might have to be there.
But
a
we
few
will
days.
we will certainly put the maps in a much larger format to be viewed on the city social medias.
Perfect.
Next week, as well as, of course, the days of, we'll post the individual maps so there's no confusion.
Yeah, and
Thank
we'll
you,
have them
sir.
on the website as well.
Yes, sir.
On the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Chief York. Great job. Great presentation. I love the way you put the spotlight on that, you know? All right. Next is a presentation of proclamation by the City of Brawley to recognize A&R Construction for 35 years in operation. All right, let's give them a big round of applause. Huh? So we have this proclamation. I want to thank city staff for putting it together, but it's a proclamation in recognition of A&R Construction, and I'm going to read it out loud for the public's benefit and for their benefit, of course. They're here in attendance, and I think it's a great recognition because it's a family-owned business that's been in business here in the city for many, many years. So we're very appreciative of that. And it reads, whereas A&R Construction, under the steadfast leadership of Terry and Carlene Robertson, has diligently served the Brawley community and the entire Imperial Valley for 35 years, demonstrating unwavering commitment and excellence in the field of construction. Whereas this family-owned business, co-managed with their son, Kenny Robertson, has become a symbol of dedication, quality, and community spirit, reflecting the values and resilience of the Brawley community. Whereas Terry Robertson, as a testament to his exceptional skills and leadership in the construction industry, was honored as a finalist for Equipment World's Contractor of the Year in 2011, bringing pride and recognition to our community. Whereas A&R Construction has not only contributed to the growth and development of our city through its professional endeavors, but has also played a significant role in fostering community relationships and local development throughout the region. Now therefore, be it resolved, I, George A. Nava, Mayor of the City of Brawley, along with the Brawley City Council members, hereby recognizes and commends A&R Construction for its 35 years of outstanding service and contributions to our community and the Imperial Valley. The council expresses its deepest appreciation and respect to the Robertson family and the entire team at A&R Construction for their dedication and service. Let's give them a big round of applause. We'd like to present this to them, and then we can hear from you. You know? And then we'll go down. Just congratulations. Thank you. Please, and we'll go down there, my friend. No, we'll go down there and take a picture. But first, please share your thoughts for a moment with us. You know, we're all here, and you're on it. So,
Well, it's been a long haul, but we're not done yet. I'm overwhelmed. This is very, very nice.
we're very proud of you.
And just remember, for every good man, there's a good woman behind him.
I just want to say thank you so much. We really appreciate this. It has been a long journey, and we're not through with that journey. And it's been a lot of hard work. We've got just wonderful employees. We couldn't ask for better employees. I mean, I was just telling, I can't remember his name, but anyway, I was just telling him, I'm sorry, we just met. And,
Rom.
Okay, and I was just telling him how we had started. And it was Frank Soto that really helped us through that. And I had this where we live, and it was in residential, and I said, Frank, what do I do to change this one room into an office? And it was totally separated from the rest of the house. I never knew what that room was for, but it worked out perfect. And he says, well, Carlene, you have to take out the window and put in doors. And I said, okay. And he goes, just go ahead and walk around the neighborhood too, see if it's going to be okay. Well, all of our neighbors gave us a thumbs up, and they said, yeah. But that was before the canal was still there at the end of First Street.
Yeah.
And so then we outgrew that. And so then, it's just the Lord's blessing. And we outgrew that, called Frank back, and I said, Frank, what do we do to change our garage into the office? He goes, Carlene, why don't you just go and do something? I said, as long as my children are underneath my roof, I'm staying here. I want to know where they're at, who they're with, what they're doing. And I said, I want their friends to come here. And so he said, okay, that's fine, it sounds good. He goes, your only option now is to go upstairs. And I said, oh, no, I'm not going upstairs. And I said, I got future plans. And so then what happened is I said, if I go ahead and do this into the garage, what do I have to do? He says, you have to replace your existing garage. I go, why? Everyone takes our parking spaces anyway. What's the difference, And he says, no, you have to replace it. And I said, okay, while I'm doing that, my kids always wanted a swimming pool. I said, no. Sorry, you guys, when you leave, I have to take care of it. I didn't want to do that. And so, anyway, I said, but I'll build you a game room with a pool table.
There you go. There's compromise.
And we'll soundproof it, and we'll give you all this kind of stuff, And so we actually added on to the house. You can't tell it from the front, but when you come in, you can. And so we added on to use the garage. Kenny turned 16 and he finally has his vehicle. And so we have a meeting and I said, Kenny, hey, we want to go, because we had already bought property over there on River Drive.
On River?
Yeah, and so we had already had that, and I said, we are talking about building our office on River Drive, we just can't, we've just outgrown it. And I'll never forget, here's the thing, he goes, Mom, I'm 16. Like, yeah, Kenny, I know you're 16. No, Mom, I'm 16. Like, why are you asking me? And I said, as long as you're under this roof, you still have a vote. You might get outvoted, but you still have a vote. And so he goes, yeah, do it. And I said, okay, because my concern was that he could get back and forth to school, okay, and do the things that he needed to do, and I didn't have to run around and help him do it. So it all worked out, and the Lord has been such a blessing. You know, when we started this company, July 1 of 1988, Terry and I were beside our bed before we actually opened up the doors, and we prayed. And we said, Lord, if this company cannot stay unto your glory, shut us down. And we meant it.
And you're still in business.
And the Lord has truly blessed us. And I just want to say, though, everybody has it. And we love Brawley. We've been born and raised here, but we love it. And we want to thank you guys so much for this.
Well, we thank you.
appreciation.
Let's give them a big round of applause, please. Let's take a picture of them. And then we'll come on down. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Friday night, always Friday.
There we go. Well, again, big round of applause, final round of applause for the family. Thank you all very much. All right. Well, what an accomplishment, 35 years.
You know, you think about, Mayor Nava, and, you know, you've been in business a long time, right? All of us here. And it's just like, I think 35 years, like, I think of closing the doors almost every other day.
Right? I mean, if you haven't thought of, like, closing the doors, you haven't been in business long enough. You know what I mean? It's like, it has.
Yeah.
It's just
It's tough.
an experience. It's a tough
Especially
experience.
construction.
Absolutely. All right. All right, thank you, everybody, for your patience and for your help in recognizing the family. Next item is consent agenda. Items are approved by one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you all very much. Next on the agenda is the city manager's report, item 4.
Yes, Mayor, just real briefly, for the council members that I haven't had a chance to circle back with as it relates to the pickleball pals, as they refer to, I did have a meeting with about 8 of the group on, I think, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and it was honestly one of the more pleasant meetings that I had with the public, and I do have meetings every day with the public, but it was a pleasant discussion, and we explored a lot of different options and opportunities, and hopefully we'll be able to work some of that into the budget, which segues me into my next announcement is come January, we're going to start the budget process again. Fun stuff. And I believe our interim acting finance director is going to be presenting a schedule on the 19th. Is that correct? And so we invite the public to participate, and we hope to have a lot of community engagement. Thank you. Thank you. That is all.
All right. Thank you. That is all he says. All right. Next item is regular business. Item 5A, discuss and approve the American Rescue Plan Act spending plan and budget as modified and direct staff to continue providing progressive updates every 6 months until all funds are spent, presented by Sylvia Luna, Acting Finance Director. Sylvia, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, and public. Sylvia Luna, Acting Finance Director. Tonight's objective of tonight's presentation is to provide the council and the public with an update of the projects that have been proposed for funding under the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds. The last update provided to council and public was on December of 2022, and since then, many projects have been completed. New projects have been added, some projects have been reassigned, and a couple have been placed on hold. To provide some background, the city of Brawley received $6.2 million in one-time funding. The funds were disbursed to the city in 2 equal payments, one in July of 2021 and a second payment in July of 2022. ARPA provides funding to help agencies respond to COVID-19, replace public sector revenue loss, provide premium pay for essential workers, improve facilities, increase usage of outdoor spaces, as well as invest in public water and wastewater infrastructure and broadband. Each agency has the flexibility to determine how to best use the fiscal recovery funds and to meet their needs. Back in December of 2021, the council approved a plan for the city's ARPA budget, and staff agreed to provide an update every 6 months on the progress and include any recommended changes to the plan. Projects included under the ARPA spending plan were selected based on priority, on departmental priority and funding sources available, as well as grants and internal funds. As a reminder, planned uses may be amended based on public input, cost savings, or newly identified needs. I'm gonna go back. So per the ARPA guidelines, which are extensive, that's a very, very long document. The final ARPA ruling from 2022 states that all agencies must obligate 100% of the funds by December of 2024, and should fully expend the funds by December of 2026. So when they say obligated, we have questioned that terminology. They're referring that expenses must be under a contract or fully assigned to a project. Of course, all of these expenses are subject of federal guidelines, reporting, and auditing. So to provide you where we are at as of to date in regard to 2023, we have allocated 99% of the 6.2 million to a project. Only 1% of the funding remains unallocated, and it's 77,000. This is the product of projects that have savings of projects that have been completed to date. So far, we have 23 projects, from which 13 projects have been completed, 7 projects remain in progress, 1 project has been reassigned or removed from ARPA funding, and 2 projects remain on hold. So what you're seeing on screen right now are the different categories that ARPA consider as allowable expenses for cities. Even though the city opted for the revenue loss replacement, that's giving us a lot of flexibility to use the ARPA funding in every way that we need. So I have separated the projects by category to provide you like a better overview of where we are at in terms of progress with the projects. For instance, one of our categories is the premium pay we provided to city full-time and part-time staff back in March of 2022. The budget allocated was $347,000. So these funds have been fully spent under.
Senator, I just want to make a quick
Sure.
comment. There were some comments made, I think, on social media about some of these funds and council receiving payment. Just want to clarify that council did not allocate any money to us as essential workers, because we're not city employees. So.
That is correct. Only full-time city employees and part-time employees, not elected employees, were considered for premium pay. Thank you. Under broadband infrastructure, we have a total of 11 projects. Under this category, a budget of $649,000 was allocated to improve the city's communication systems, refresh the department firewalls, enhance and modernize the city's broadband infrastructure, and cybersecurity needs. The IT department, a department of two, has done an amazing job on making sure the projects get completed, since a total of 10 projects have been completed and only one remains in progress due to back orders of some parts. So great job on the IT department. A new item was added to improve the real library firewall. In this budget, it was a small amount, $3,000, and we allocated savings from other projects to this one to help with this need.
So since that is a new one,
Yes.
that is pending council action at the end of this presentation. So, but this is the recommendation for that.
Under public health response, we have a total of 7 projects. A total of $1.5 million has been allocated to improve the city's public safety response and upgrade the city facility infrastructure. With this funding, we have purchased a brand new fire apparatus that we just received in May and June of this year. We purchased 6 police units that include a Blazer, a Durango, and 4 police interceptors, as well as the aftermarket equipment to fully equip the units. We also have aftermarket equipment for a light truck for fire response. And the city also installed a touchless door system to improve the security at the facilities. Citywide, this also includes citywide security cameras. This project remains in progress as IT still and police are still working to install these cameras and have proposed new locations. And for this reason, IT or Armando, it's planning to use the available 20,000 that it's sitting on that item to continue to install security cameras across the city. The other last three projects, the digital sign project has been allocated with $100,000. This project is being coordinated by the planning department and the city manager office. So I believe the departments are in the process of updating our sign ordinance, and as well as working with the vendor that is going to install this sign outside our city hall. The next 2 projects are labeled as not started. It's the air circulation system and facility upgrades for the Lions Center, and the $50,000 to the downtown facade project. These 2 projects are on hold. The first one, it's due because this project, it's depending on the roof rehabilitation project. So once that project is completed, Parks and Recreation will have a better idea of what the funding needs are. So we are not touching these 2 items for the moment. We want to make sure we have funding in case any change orders are needed. Last category, water infrastructure. On this one, we have 3 projects. One of them, actually 4. One of them, it's new. We have a 19% completion progress. The main component under water infrastructure is the Main Street project with a current budget of $2.8 million. The Main Street project, it's currently undergoing the bidding process and soon to award a contract in January of 2024. The project is estimated to last 2 years, just right in time to meet with the deadline for the ARPA funding. That one, it's a big component, and as you can see, I would like to highlight that there's a change made to the budget. So from $3 million, we adjusted it down to $2.8 million. And the water meter installation, which is also part of the Main Street project, the $500,000, that funding was reassigned, and the other one was reduced to include the irrigation ditch undergrounding element. This cost is part of the Western Avenue and Legend Street project, street rehabilitation project that was just completed in October. And what happened here is that during our final review of the cost of the project, Public Works as well as Finance determined that this expense was not eligible for street funding. And staff saw the need to reassign this cost to ensure full compliance and grant guideline adherence. And our recommendation is to reassign these funds to ARPA, as it is the most appropriate funding source to finally close the project. So that's the reason for those changes there. That doesn't mean that the water installation project is not happening. So we are replacing that funding with water development impact fees, which is a more appropriate funding source to complete that part of the project. I don't know if you have any questions. So from this category, obviously the irrigation undergrounding, that item, has been it's completed. It was completed with the Western Avenue project, and the other component, the two items that belong to the Main Street project, are in progress.
All right.
So in addition to providing you with an update of the projects and some changes that were needed along the way since December of 2022, staff has identified additional 6 projects, potential projects, that as of now we don't have any funding sources. They remain unfunded. The 6 of them add up to $400,000. Most of these items are being requested by our police department and fire department. And most of them are equipment. The mobile command center trailer, I know there's a huge need from both departments, fire and police. And the handheld radios as well, they have identified a need for that. Jaws of Life, I know departments are currently working on grants to try to get funding, but for the meantime, they remain without funding. And in the case, we generate some savings of the current ARPA projects, we can potentially use to fund a portion of this equipment or fully fund them. The additional item that does not pertain to public safety, it's the pool and roof rehab projects. Those $70,000 are the estimated usage of capital reserves that was approved during a prior council meeting to be able to pay for the change orders on both projects. So we're considering if we have those savings to help pay for that part of the project.
I would like to see there, now that you mentioned potential projects, is that we look a little bit more at our parks. I know that we actually, last year's budget, some of the money that they saved, we allocated elsewhere. Let's take a look at some projects that may be needed to improve the conditions of the parks, and perhaps we can allocate some funds there as well.
Sounds good. Thank you. So what's coming next during 2024? The city is obligated to report on their ARPA spending once a year. That report is due in April 2024, and finance is responsible filing the report to the state and local fiscal recovery office. So we're going on our 3rd report. So far, everything has been in compliance and on time. By June 2024, we're hoping to be here again, providing you with a third ARPA budget update, and so we can evaluate the progress, the performance, and if council and the public has any other needs that we'd like to include as part of the ARPA budget. Then 6 months later, December of 2024, we also will be meeting for a follow-up update on the ARPA budget. With this, I conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Going back to that comment, can we actually use ARPA funds for that?
For parks?
I should have asked that question first.
Yes. So there's that's a good question. So it can be used to promote outdoor activities usage. So it can be used potentially for parks improvement or purchase equipment for the CURTs or that type of funding.
I just remember the breakdown. I don't remember exactly how it was broken down, but thank you. Appreciate it.
I think some of the examples, I don't think any ARPA funds were used directly for the pool, other than the item up there, the change order. Is that what's being proposed?
No ARPA funding.
Yeah, I know that was CBDG. And,
yes,
and
it has.
But the Line Center, again, RIP, same thing. Is it kind of just in case we want to be able to identify that?
Yes. And I think that item for the Lions Center, I think those facility upgrades, it's because we're considering the Lions Center as a potential emergency operations center, and those will fall under a public health response category.
And the quote is a little outdated, so we want
Yes.
to make sure we have a
Yeah.
real-time quote. Yeah. And so, yeah, and that's, of course, city manager's recommendation, if there's any ARPA, we want to close the general fund gap.
Yeah.
Reserves, potentially, that's but we'll have to see how it pencils out, and of course, council's direction, of course.
So I know the circulation system is on hold because of the roof rehabilitation. I'm sorry, but the downtown, can you explain to me the downtown business facade improvement matching grant? What exactly is that?
I believe that staff was looking into a grant, and this 50,000 will be additional funding to complete the project and help businesses in downtown improve their appearance, their exterior appearance. But I believe we were not successful at obtaining the grant. Therefore, we're putting on hold right now in case we do obtain a grant and we can use part of this funding for that.
Yeah, is there any way, and I said, I'm just throwing it out, I mean, I know recently we just had some concerns regarding some of the upcoming street closures. Is like any way, I don't even know if this would even be allowed, but like turn that just into a micro grant for downtown businesses impacted by the upcoming street closures that are going to be incoming through the street work. And so I know other cities, and I know I'll be referencing Calexico, but hear me out. Highway 98, I know there was some construction by Caltrans and impacted some of the businesses along there. And the county actually opened up some grants to kind of mitigate some of those impacts. And I kind of see something similar here. Obviously, I don't know if this could even be transferred, but just, I mean, a downtown facade, it's the same thing, assisting, but maybe cutting some of those restrictions that a facade improvement matching grant may have, and maybe a micro grant for downtown businesses impacted by street closures. But then, once again, it's up for a discussion.
We can definitely take a look and see, if it's eligible, and two, how we leverage the dollars.
Yeah.
And I know our Public Works Director has been working on the access with the businesses and when they potentially be affected, and will they have no access or not, or is there an alternative access? So we're working through all that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right.
We don't want to be caught
Yeah.
off guard, so.
All right, any other questions here?
Good report.
We appreciate it very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Good work. Appreciate it.
Yeah, fans.
Fans, all right. Next item is regular business 5B.
We need an action item
Oh, that's an action, all right.
to adopt.
Discuss and approve.
To approve
Is there,
the plan.
is there a motion to approve the plan?
Motion to approve item 5A.
I'll
There-
second.
There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving forward, thank you very much. 5B, discuss and approve a 4% consumer price index rate increase effective January 1st, 2024 to current refuse services provider, Republic Services, for commercial and residential customers in the city of Brawley, presented by Sylvia Luna, Acting Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Sylvia Luna, Acting Finance Director. This next item in front of you is the annual request to improve a 4% consumer price index to the current refuse services for commercial and residential customers of the city of Brawley, effective January 1st of 2024. This is an annual increase capped at 4%, and this is per our franchise agreement, our current franchise agreement with Republic Services. So if the rate increase is approved, January 1st, 2024, residential trash rates are going to increase by $1.05 from the current rate of $26.22 to $27.27. For commercial accounts, which are not billed directly by the city, that's between directly our commercial customers and Republic Services, there's also an increase of $7.62 per month from $119.43 to $198.05. So for tonight, only a 4% CPI increase is being requested for approval. And if approved, customers will be notified on the December bill about this increase in their utility bill. Just as a reminder, council and the public received a request from Republic Services in 2022 So this is a different topic on top of the CPI index. And this additional request received in 2022, it was to consider an additional almost 4% increase in addition to the CPI increase due to extraordinary costs related to the state organic waste recycling mandate. The city continues to work with a consultant and Republic Services to determine the proposed increases to the trash rate based on this new mandate, as well as to determine the timing, potential funding sources to try to mitigate the increase on cost to the city and its residents. So the study is still being conducted, and it is expected to be completed in the next couple of months. We, of course, we're going to present this item to all of the findings to council as soon as the information becomes available. And I believe, I think we have someone from Republic. I don't know if there's any questions.
George is here.
George is here from Republic Services. I'm not sure if you have any questions or comments.
I would, so yeah, since I got here, I remember we got on in 2020. When I got on in 2020, I think one of the first meetings that I attended was like to approve this increase. And like everyone had frozen increases and we weren't charging for water. And we were charging, but we weren't enforcing the, turn-offs or anything like that, or shut-offs. And they were the only ones and we had to, right? It's just like a formality. But I've asked several times about the CPI and how it works. It's been explained before, but I would like for a presentation to come in front of the council so that the public has an understanding of what it is. And when you look at all urban consumers, we're not technically an urban area. But I do want to see the breakdown, and I want to see that it's clear for our public to understand, because I know it's just $1 to some, but it might be a lot to others. And I do understand the position that Republic Services is in, right? You're a private company providing a service for a profit. So I would like to see that, how this is broken down. How do we analyze this? How do we come up with this 4%? And I know it's capped at 4%. It's probably much higher this time around with all the inflation. But I would like to see it. And this is for the public. I did take a look at it. I did a little bit of research on my own last year. And I got a decent understanding of it, I guess. But I would like to see this come back. Well, obviously, we're approving it or whatever we decide to do today. But going forward, in the next couple of months, I would like a presentation on how this is done. I just think for the public to understand, and we get beat up every time we approve an increase, and so it's important for them to know that.
Of course. Unfortunately, to my understanding, the CPI index, we do not have control of that because it's primarily driven by inflation,
Correct.
right? And it's applied to multiple utilities and commodities and products. As a matter of fact, the CPI provided for this utility service as of October was 5.3%, but the city it's only doing an increase of 4%. So
there's a cap in the franchise
Yes.
agreement, and as just about everything else in this world, for a lot of years the CPI was low and it didn't approach the cap, but due to inflationary, the last 2 years it has exceeded the cap, and of course we adhere to the franchise agreement. And the CPI is set by the U.S.
National Bureau, yes.
And I think it's also important to consider it is a very small, relatively small increase. And so I think people need to understand too, there is tremendous expense in hauling waste and everything else. So I've always, I want to make sure people understand when we had the initial agreement, we wanted to make sure they're protected and there are maximums set. That's why that is set at 4%. So, it's considering the public already, and I want to make sure that people understand that too. Of course, nobody wants to see their bills go up, but just like any business, they have higher bills. Restaurants, everybody else, So
Yes.
Republic offers senior discounts, correct? Or no?
Not through, well, right now, the trash services are billed through the city's utility billing account, so we pass through the cost to our residents. We currently, at least the City of Brawley Utility Billing Office does not have a discount program for seniors.
Okay.
But we are constantly working with our residents to try to help them, not with discounts, but maybe with alternative payment plans, help them with any grants that are available. We have had in the past, maybe I think it was over a year ago, we did have a program just for seniors. I think we helped like 126 senior residents.
Something that, Mr. Taylor, is that something Republic could assist the city on? Some sort of, I think I've seen some similar stuff in other jurisdictions. I'm not sure, maybe I'm
All right,
speaking out of turn.
George Taylor with Republic Services. You were going to get me up here? No way.
That's my goal.
Somehow,
That's my
right?
goal, yeah.
Okay, all right. Since we bill the city, it's tough for us to discount. Now, we can work with the city and provide a lower rate if need be. But for us to discount individuals, the city bills those individuals, so it's kind of tough for us to do that. Some of the things that we do work on, however, is pull-out service for senior citizens. So we try and help them, go up and get their containers and things of that nature. That doesn't necessarily help them with their cost, but we try and make sure that we help them in some manner.
And it also helps identify the value that you're providing too.
Right.
And on a separate note, I am meeting with George tomorrow, and he's meeting with city staff on a cleanup plan. I'll talk about that later, but it's just a matter of educating the public too, because there's a lot of services that they're already paying for that I think people are not aware of, and so just maybe better able to access those services. So again, it goes back to the value, right? The value and what they're doing. So,
Mira, I'd like to just bring that out. You make a great point. Folks are able to get bulk service once a month, right? And so we not only send 3 trucks there for trash, recycling, and green waste, but they can call us once a month and have 3 items picked up: refrigerators, sofas, and things of that nature. And obviously, we do the community cleanups, and those help also.
yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Appreciate
And
it.
I always tease you because I always tell you come up here and you talk trash. You know what I mean? So, which is true. So,
Or you talk about his hairstyle.
right? Or that and the hairstyle.
Or the hairstyle,
That or
yeah.
his hairstyle. You know what I mean? And his name. It's like
Yeah,
beautiful name, beautiful man. Love the hairstyle.
Both tall, dark, and handsome.
That's all for tonight. I believe we also need an approval, right, to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, or is there any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is discussion to approve the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Brawley's request to close Main Street for their Santa's local workshop on Friday, December 15th, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. and waive all fees associated with the event. Presented by Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager.
Good evening, members of the council. Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. So the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Brawley will host its annual Santa workshop on Friday, December 15th. The event will feature vendors, cookie decorating, letters to Santa, music raffles, artificial snow, and an ugly sweater contest. The City of Brawley's Christmas tree lighting will also be combined with the workshop at 5:30 p.m. Council approval is requested for the following items: permission to close Main Street for the Chamber of Commerce's event and the waiver of all fees associated with the event. Romero with the Chamber is here for any questions you may have about the event.
If I may, we can point out, this is a less intrusive closing than we've had in the past, right? Where are you, Romero? Yeah, if you have the map in your packet, I don't know if we have it for the public to see, it's just right at the beginning of Plaza Park and the end, the west and east side, to try to not be so intrusive on the public. So I appreciate Romero and Rachel's team to come up with that solution, so I wanted to point that out.
All right. Is there any discussion you guys want to have, or is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
This is a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And Ramiro, I do want to thank you, off topic a little bit, but I do want to thank you for the very, very hard work you did for Catacol. I'll recognize you a little further, but I know you're here, and in case you leave, I do want to publicly thank you for all the hard work that you did for the Catacol Parade and all the events. I know you even had some staff leave during, your busiest part of that week, and so it was limited to very, very few people under tremendous pressure and stress, and he was able to pull it off. So I want to congratulate you for a job well done, and your staff and your ambassadors and everyone who helped. But thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. All right, next item is 5D, discuss and approve the 3-year agreement to purchase web-based applicant tracking software to modernize and enhance the city's recruitment process, presented by Shirley Bonias.
Excited.
Honorable Mayor, council members, city staff, and the public. This item is a web-based applicant tracking where we can get away from the old-fashioned paper. Talking with the city manager and staff, we feel that our old ways are costing us candidates. So, researched possible entities that could supply this. NeoGov is the premier entity, has been doing public sector. As you know, public sector recruitment and private recruitment has different sets of rules. We have compliance tracking, et cetera. This is going to update, click away for an applicant to apply for any open position. We get to dictate what the scoring is for any position, and we can change it up if an applicant doesn't meet the minimum requirements, college degree, et cetera, or we can assign points. So we have total control on the screening process, which is done electronically. It will be a text message to the applicant. Talk about freeing the hands of HR to actually do HR work. This is the way to go. NeoGov was chosen again because they have done and will continue to do this for many public entities, including our sister city of Imperial, La Quinta, and it works wonderfully. And City of Imperial's been a customer of NeoGov for over 7 years, and they're still on NeoGov. The other additive focus is they're going to post every one of our positions on governmentjobs.com. So we don't have that expense. It will be, you'll go to our webpage, you'll click on a position that you want, and it will redirect to their career page, but it looks like ours. So we won't lose our identity, and we can enhance our identity. This is a budgeted item, budgeted for $15,000 in the first year. Our acting finance director has let me know, I think it's in IT's budget, it's got the other couple thousand for the first year. I recommend a 3-year because that's where our cost savings are. So I don't see us pulling away from this anytime in the 3 years unless they do not perform. Then we can talk about exiting the contract. They are also equipped to integrate with our payroll system. So when an applicant goes through the process and they're the chosen candidate, I can email their hire forms. They fill out their hire forms. I get notification that they're done and can just seamlessly upload into payroll.
Mm-hmm. It's just where we should be. We should have been, 10 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Or even further.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's,
It's what's expected, right? Yeah.
we feel, and it's been discussed in a lot of HR seminars, articles, what have you, is like the younger generation, such as myself, if you
Right.
can't apply through the phone on a few
Right.
clicks, you lost them.
Right, no,
You lost
absolutely.
them.
The quality of candidate, some that may be well-inclined and well-positioned to do the job are just leaving. They're like, that's old technology, it's old school, like that,
We get 20 calls, Mayor, if
Right.
we get one. What do you mean? I've got to bring it in? I got to
Right.
mail it in?
Right.
Even with iPhones being the wonderful items they are where they can scan, we still get very rough
Yeah.
submissions, if you will. And, signatures aren't there 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
The reasons to do this is a gazillion. The biggest one is let's get the candidate pool that we need
Right.
to do the jobs we need to get done here in the
I've
city.
gotten in trouble with you for not submitting paperwork, and I'm like, can I do it online? And you're like, you gotta come. When do I,
Exactly, sir.
And I think that also says a lot too, like, for a person who wants to work here, and then we don't have that technology there already, they're gonna say, like, where am I gonna go? They don't wanna work for a place like that, so.
Yeah,
Everything
where are
I
we?
do at both my companies, it's like, it's DocuSign, it's
Yeah.
everything's electronic. It's not,
Exactly.
Rarely do you have to fill out paperwork, so.
And on a separate note, we're also moving electronic. We're finally getting the payroll system, utilizing the payroll system we currently have, and rolling out to our staff, employee self-service, so they can change their own stuff. So HR is moving into the 21st century, and I know I'm 23 years behind. So
right.
it is staff's recommendation to please approve this.
Nope.
And I do have Wesley Taylor on Zoom, if you have any further questions of NeoGov.
When will this, well, first off, this is huge, and thank you. I've recently utilized government jobs and NeoGov, and it's not just easier for you, but also the all your transcripts, all your resumes, just everything, everything's there. When do we plan on rolling this? What's the implementation?
6 to 8 weeks.
Okay,
Very
cool,
nice.
cool.
But effective the moment that everything's signed, you approve, it's signed,
Did it
we will
signed
have
electronically,
our
or-
positions posted on governmentjobs.com.
We're gonna need a digital signature, or do you need a?
Well, I'll have to ask Wesley
Right.
if we can do digital or not.
You can DocuSign it, let's do it. All
Mr.
right.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
There's
I'm
a
sorry.
motion to approve.
Second.
I'm sure there
There's
was a
second.
comment on the phone.
I'm sure there is. There's a motion and a second. He's gonna ruin his sale if he keeps talking. Yeah, he's gonna- Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I think that was Councilmember Hamby, was
Yeah,
it? No, it wasn't?
Councilmember-
Somebody did.
All
Let's
right.
go round over. We owe you a round over.
Any opposed?
Come on, this is a really.
Thank you.
We're just trying to encourage you.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next item is discuss and approve the acceptance by resolution of $10,875 from 2023 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG, and authorize the city manager or designee to execute all grant-related documents presented by Jimmy Duran, Chief of Police. Chief Duran.
Well, good evening, Mayor, council members, public. Jimmy Duran, Chief of Police. We have another grant here, commonly known as the JAG grant, stands for Justice Assistance Grant. We're able to secure $10,875. So this is to outfit our patrol officers with new helmets. And you may think, well, the officers already have helmets. Yes, they do, but they're 1990s era military frag helmets, so they're completely outdated. This new technology is going to bring us into the 21st century. And I know Councilmember Castro is familiar with those 1990s helmets as well as I am. They're made for frag, not to take direct hits from bullets. So these new helmets are actually will take direct hits from pistol bullets, which is a very big improvement over the old helmets. And again, it will be no cost to the city. The grant will cover $10,875, and the rest, which is $465.40, we're going to cover with asset forfeiture funds for an amount of $11,340.40. So this is good. In another good note, we're actually going to be able to even sell these helmets to a company that actually will provide for some funding on behalf of those. So that's kind of, I'm not sure exactly how much we're getting, but that's actually going to be
Something.
worked out as well. So
Certainly, thank you.
so hopefully, I don't know if you have any questions at this point.
Motion to approve? or-
No, just a quick story. That one of those helmets, I got a busted nose. Like in boot camp, I tossed a frag grenade,
Yeah.
and I decided to look at it, and they put me down in that helmet, busted my nose open right here. Anyways,
Yeah,
sorry.
and yeah,
Motion to
super,
approve.
super heavy helmets.
I got some pretty dumb stuff.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, 5F, discuss, approve the sole source award of line center pool heater repair to Norris Systems for $44,980.66. Authorize a 15% contingency for $6,747.09. And authorize the city manager to execute all documentation associated with the repairs. Presented by Rachel Fonseca, Park and Recreation Manager.
Good evening, members of the council. Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. So North Systems discovered pinholes in the metal exchangers during the heater's maintenance in March of 2023. The pinholes developed from the metal's ongoing exposure to the chemicals that ensure the safe swimming. And if not corrected, the pinholes will continue to grow in size and contribute to pool water leaking onto the heat tiles, eventually destroying the heater, and it'll be much more costly. So the cost to repair the metal exchangers is $44,000, And in response to this, staff had requested $52,000 to be allocated to the recreation budget in anticipation of the work that was required. And the heater manufacturer is Lochinvar, and North Systems is the only certified Lochinvar manufacturer representative. So staff requests approval of the award to North Systems for the $44,000 plus a contingency, and to authorize the city manager. I have Brandon from North Systems on Zoom if council has any questions for him.
Are there any questions on this topic or this item?
I do have a question.
Sure.
So is this, this kind of damage, the pinholes, is that something we can anticipate every few years, every several years from the chemicals?
So it says that typical heater lasts 6 to 8 years, and so we're going to be looking into a different type of heater that we can hopefully get a grant funding for, so we can move to that one, and that one has a life expectancy of 20 years.
Okay.
All right.
Any kind of protective coating that can be put on to keep, to help them last longer,
So that might be a question for Brandon.
Brandon.
I can speak, yeah. So listen, so the heat exchanger that we're offering right now it's actually made of copper nickel, which is it's a little more sturdy. It's, withstands a little more of the elements than standard copper. So given pool water, it's always corrosive. You're running treated water through it at all times. So. It's pretty much the only material that's going to stand up to that for as long as possible before it does, finally strip itself away. So.
Okay, thank you.
So the answer is the current won't. It's
The
not
current
made of
won't,
the
but, yeah.
nickel, bronze, or
Right.
whatever the current nickel, bronze. Okay, got it. That's what it says
Exactly.
there.
All right, any further questions?
Well, the only fortunate thing is we don't have to run it that often,
Right.
living in Imperial County, so I guess 6 to 8 seasons, so hopefully 8.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion and a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, presented by Mr. Ron Medina, Director of Public Works and Operations, for the discussion approval of Resolution 2023- and Ordinance 2023- first reading to authorize installation of traffic safety features on Main Street and 18th, Catacall Park and K Street from Eastern to 18th. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and the general public. Yeah, this action item is to approve the resolution of ordinances for traffic safety installations at Malin Street, at 18th Street for the solar radar speed control signs, the red striped curb and no parking signs at K Street and 18th Street, speed control bumps and replacement of safety bollards at Catacall Park. Site maps, along with cost breakdown, ordinances, and resolution are included in your packet as backup information for your use. Cost should not exceed $15,400, and it is recommended to install these traffic safety items by the Traffic Safety Committee.
Very well. Is there any questions from council on this topic? Is there a motion to approve the item?
A motion approved.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think you're presenting the next one as well. So don't go anywhere. All right. 5H, discuss and approve contract change order number 1 to contract number 2020-05, K Street Improvements Project from Highway 86 to 8th Street for $5,485.60, and authorize the city manager to execute all documentation concerning this project, presented by Ron Medina, Director of Public Works and Operations.
Thank you, Mayor Nava, council members, staff, and the general public. Yeah, after completion of K Street, the project of all additional costs and reductions in the award amount have determined an additional cost to the contract amount to Hazard Construction, the contractor, in the amount of $5,485.60. This is the final additional amount for the contract and additional project work for manhole adjustments and gas valve adjustments. A copy of the contract change order is provided in your packet as backup information with the updated contract amount for $674,110.35. The additional cost with this change order is within the project budget, coming from the contingency amount, with a remaining balance or savings of $61,376.87. This is also recommended for your approval.
Could this been like a consent item, or no? Did it have to come before regular?
Yeah, it could have been on the
Yeah,
consent,
yeah.
yeah.
Because of the dollar amount, too.
Yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
plus it
yeah.
was already
Just
under the
slipped by
contract
me,
amount.
Mayor. It's- yeah.
All right, cool. All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
But wait, there's more.
Ron's up next.
Ram Medina, the man of the hour. 5I. All right. Discuss and approve contract award and agreement with Dynamic Consulting Engineers for professional services agreement to design improvement plans and specifications for sidewalks, ADA ramps, streetlights, and striping for the Ocotillo Improvements Grant Project in an amount not to exceed $52,750. Presented by Mr. Ram Medina, Director of Public Works and Operations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and the general public. As part of the grant requirements for the design and construction for various street offsite improvements for the Ocotillo Springs Housing Project grant, this item includes the scope of work for design. The city solicited engineers for engineering design services and received 2 bids from Dynamic Consulting Engineers and NV5 Engineers. Copy of proposals and copy of agreements are included in your packet for your use. It is recommended to approve the design engineering services for Ocotillo Springs to Dynamic Consulting Engineers in the amount of $52,750. Any questions?
Any questions from council? Is there a motion to approve the item?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, next item, presented by Stephen Mireles, Senior Environmental Compliance Officer, is 5J, pass and adopt City of Brawley Resolution 2023- to allow city manager or designee to apply for grants through the Cal Recycle / Grant Payments Program. This update resolution will allow city manager to designate either a city employee or Imperial Valley Resource Management Agency, IVRMA, to apply for the grants. Mr. Mireles.
Hi, thank
How
you,
are you?
Mayor, City Council, members of the public. Yes, so this resolution will allow us to proceed to apply for grants through Cal Recycle. We've already submitted an application, and it looks like we'll be receiving about $75,000 for us to be able to implement further programs to deal with recycling and specifically SB 1383 recycling laws as it relates to organics. So that money will allow us to hire a temporary employee. Also, it'll allow us to buy some more PPE because we're going to have to start doing inspections of trash receptacles and trash containers, making sure that there's no more that we are diverting the waste streams properly, and it'll also allow us to upgrade some of our monitoring data and analysis for that program. So one thing that we are needing is to work with IVRMA, which is a Joint Powers Authority, for us to be able to maintain certain records that allow us to meet state requirements. So the grant will cover quite a bit of just basic record keeping and data for us to be able to meet those laws. So the resolution will allow us to receive that grant.
All right.
Awesome.
Is there a motion to pass and adopt?
Motion to approve it. Thank you. Thank you.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second, and I just want, it's more of just going into the future on this topic. I wouldn't even call it request, just putting it out there. Is there, can we also explore if there's opportunities, because it's been asked a few times, composting at a residential level? Obviously, there's a cost for those, I think, kitchen type or household type composters, but a lot of these food items or these organics we're talking about at the residential level ought to be able to go into something like that somebody could use for their home garden or neighborhood or something like that. But just out of curiosity, if that's something.
I think once we work through all the organics costs with the consultant, I think that's the plan, right, George and Stephen, that we're going to be distributing residential buckets or no?
Correct.
Okay.
Again.
He's rolling his pin again.
George with Republic Services. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, kitchen caddies are the way, is the start process for composting. We actually currently take your green containers, and we will take that to our landfill, and we will take that to our Arizona facility for composting. And then we'll start incorporating that to our San Diego facility. But on an individual or residential level, the kitchen caddies are the way to go. Grant money is available for composting in backyards. We also pickup service in Borrego, San Diego County, and there are some neighborhood composting facilities in Borrego, and that's an option also. Community gardens, things of that nature. So there's some options. We've just got to put some templates together and some ideas together and come up with a plan.
Hey, George, where that kitchen, I'm sorry.
That was it, no.
That kitchen caddy, is that an additional cost to the residents?
No, actually Cal Recycle, we have a limited amount of them ourselves, but Cal Recycle will provide those for you on a grant basis. So they can,
Nice.
I know City of Imperial already is providing those kitchen caddies to their residents. So it's just one of those applications you have to apply for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So with respect to this item,
We got a motion and a
we have
second.
a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next items, 6A and B, are informational reports, monthly staff report for your viewing pleasure, and the City of Brawley Works Weeks and holiday calendars also provided there by Shirley Bonias. If there's any questions, if not, we'll move on to City Council member reports, and that's item 7. We'll start with Council Member Hamby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a lot to report, just it's been a good little break that we had. Really enjoyed Thanksgiving with family and friends, and hope that all of you had a blessed holiday there. My boys and I drove by the Lions Center pool. Every so often we'll drive by, and they're interested in the progress that's being made there. And we talked a little bit more about the wading pool and the issues that we had with the drain plumbing there and how those are being resolved. So they were very happy to see that that's being taken care of so that kids can once again enjoy that heated pool. And they were happy to see the plaster going on. And I believe we got an update that says before the end of the year, before the 31st, it should be all finished up, the plaster. Okay. Begin plastering, yeah, okay.
When their father's a contractor, you explain like all the piping and
Yep,
everything
all
else.
the ins
yeah.
and outs, yeah.
Right.
And what causes the breakdown.
Right,
of-
right, yeah,
of
there you go.
Plaster.
The pinholes,
Yeah,
the pinholes.
pinholes, yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's great.
I'm looking forward to our festivities next week with council and the rest of the city.
Are you performing this year?
I haven't been approached about that, but I did have someone, a fellow musician, said that he saw my name as presenting some songs next week, so I guess I am.
Okay. You didn't know about it?
I didn't
but
know.
you will be.
I was voluntold.
It's a surprise. Yeah, right? That's great.
You're on the flyer.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your update.
Yeah.
Councilmember Reveler.
No, unfortunately, I won't be able to attend Thursday's special meeting. I'll be out of town on Economic Summit, but congratulations, or I look forward to your leadership, incoming Mayor Castro and incoming Mayor Pro Tem. Boyd brought up the policy, though. He wanted me to ask about the rotational policies, so, just kidding, Boyd. But, yeah, I won't be able to attend, so, like I said, congratulations, looking forward to this year, and keeping it brief tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wharton.
In the spirit of the holidays and all that, as much as there was a little bit of a break from the council meeting, I think all of us were busy at numerous events that have taken place, which I believe we were right in the throes of cattle calls. So just echoing what you said, Mr. Mayor, when Romero was here a little bit earlier, but everybody that was involved in, I think it was a very successful cattle call week. And then coming out of that, there were numerous events again, whether it was celebrating, honoring veterans. I know you'll probably hear from that. And I'll just put this shout out also with Councilmember Revelar here. There were numerous turkey trots on taking place.
I don't want to say it.
And that you were involved in. That's good.
I did finish before Councilmember Wharton. I did finish the turkey. In his defense, he didn't know we were racing, and he did one right afterwards, and I was sore for
He
the
didn't.
entire
No,
weekend.
he
So
didn't.
no, I couldn't. Yeah,
I was running with some friends there, but no excuse on my part. I didn't know we were. But speaking of that was actually my second turkey trot of the day. And prior to that, also, I think they had the first annual boys BUHS volleyball fundraiser 5K that took place right down the parade route. So I would urge anybody that is anywhere remotely interested in walking or running, you have to do the Main Street run because you're taking advantage of the parade route. That's as close to the Boston Marathon as many of us might get. So, because there's actually a crowd, which is actually the parade route. So, all of it was great and just had a wonderful time and looking forward to the rest of the holiday season as well as being here on Thursday.
Fantastic, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Castro.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Nava. Yeah, no, I thought about going to one of those turkey trots, and then I saw that you did two, so I was like, well, that makes up for the one I didn't attend, so. I know, honestly, I've been trying a little bit. It's getting tougher, but I mean, there's no excuse, right?
You walk from Westmoreland to.
And we did, and we did that walk, it was, walking is a little different and beats up different parts of the body, and some people have been approaching me about, oh, you gonna do another walk? And honestly, I have some nerve damage and some certain areas of my hips that are now, like it hurts quite a bit. And so I don't think doing it again it's going to be twice as hard. And I'm not going to do any of that. But yeah, Catacall is always, I think it's one of the funnest times of the year for me. I look forward to it every year. I look forward to putting on my cowboy boots and my hat and not being made fun of, right? The rest of the valley, I saw all the memes everywhere. Everyone was making fun of Brawley folks. But guess what? Everyone from Imperial County was in Brawley that week. Mariachi night.
There you go.
Everyone who wanted to get a picture looking cool on Wednesday night was here. I saw everybody. The beer garden, I hope, Chief, I hope it went well. I saw the flow. I didn't feel like,
The flow of beer to people.
or people, I didn't feel like a criminal for the first time in a long time. So, I think it's a stigma attached to that, and I think people worked well. I saw you guys out there, everyone. The flow was different, the vibe was different, and again, it was an excellent event. Staff was busy, police department was busy, and I just hope that the public, takes a look and considers how much work goes into everything that you guys do. That's a lot of. I just enjoy the festivities, and I'm exhausted. I could imagine you guys that are working. I do appreciate our Brawley Police Department and Imperial County Sheriff's Department for helping us out on the Veterans Walk from Westmoreland to Brawley. Mayor Nava was there as well. We I usually lead the pace, and I don't know what happened. I think we were chismeando the whole time.
But we let it.
We were chatting,
We let
and
it the way.
and I had a pretty high, pretty fast pace, and my wife got on my case afterwards. She was like, "What were you trying to prove?" I was like, we set the pace every year, right? It was the Marine Corps birthday, so I was a little more pumped up than usual. Mayor Nava was not even breaking a sweat. I was like,
We did well. I mean, we talked a lot on the way, but
We did.
It was a good discussion and it was a good walk.
Yeah, I think
appreciated
it was an excellent event. And you know that election season is around the corner, right? Because a lot of elected officials and candidates were out there, and a lot of selfies for that event too. So, but in our defense, we do it every year, right?
We do it all the time.
We
yeah.
do it all the time. So, I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. It was a good time at home as always. I always have a dinner, and I invite everyone. I cook. That's the only time of the year that I cook, or any time ever, I think, that I cook. Yeah, I'm horrible at it, but I do a good job at that. And my home is always open to anybody, any family members, friends, or anybody who just doesn't have anyone to get together with. It's always open, and hopefully we'll keep that tradition going for a very long time. A couple of issues that I do want to discuss with our city is I've been approached about the parking situation on Main Street, and I know that folks are listening now, right? We're throwing up those DUIs. Folks don't want to get a DUI. Folks are being responsible, but we do have current limits on how many cars parked on Main Street, and I know we're doing our job by enforcing the ordinances there. Well, see, we can take a look at them so that folks can leave their vehicles in well-lit areas. Where they know the vehicles are going to be safe when they get a cab home instead of driving home under the influence of alcohol. So I think perhaps we can take a look at that. And I've been approached by several folks, I think, at this point. So, just bringing it up.
Is it from people leaving like Spot 805? and
Yeah,
things like
and
that?
Sophia's
So
and
they've been
stuff.
drinking and they leave their vehicle overnight, they're getting a ticket?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They're getting a ticket. The fine is
Minimal.
180 bucks or something.
Well, I mean, it's not that minimal, but it is, right, it's
It's
much
cheaper than a
less than a
DUI.
DUI.
Yeah, but
Right.
we want to encourage folks to do the right thing, and I
Right.
think this is kind of like might have the opposite effect, especially and especially with the issue that like people's cars have been getting broken into, and they feel like it's safer leaving it on Main Street. So maybe we can take a look at that, and maybe not always. I know that the street sweeper has to go by, but there's something we can do, I think, to alleviate that and to help out people, and so that they enjoy what's happening downtown, but don't end up getting into trouble or causing something even worse, crashing or hurting people on the road. So with that, our city manager also take a look at the chairs. Our city attorney also almost got hurt a little while ago. That happened to me a few weeks ago. And as I'm pretty short, and the chair just kept sinking on me, And I moved it over. I played a prank on Councilmember Rebel. I don't know if it worked on you or not, but I don't think you even noticed that I gave you the.
This
He
chair's
has
fine.
it over there now.
He's fine.
And it was just
Maybe it's not
taking-
the chair, huh? Maybe- huh?
And besides that, I hope if all goes well, if there is a policy on mayor the way we appoint our mayor pro tem, please bring it forward. I do recall the conversations we had many, many years ago, watching as the rotation was happening up here. And then obviously, I'm sure that if council ever felt that any of us weren't up to the task, all five of us are grown men up here, and we could easily say, hey, you don't deserve to be mayor. So, and there might be some comments. Somebody told me the other day that they were hoping that it wouldn't happen, and I was like, what did I do to you, guy?
Oh,
That's
really?
okay. Yeah.
Wow.
I said, we'll see about that. We don't want you to be mayor. So we don't want progress in this town. I said, whatever. I don't know what that means, but
I thought
whatever.
that was just a private conversation between me and you. You don't understand.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
we were going to reappoint you.
Right. Yeah, this is
no.
legal lexicon.
Yeah, right. Or change the term so you was only married 2 months. Yeah, they're wild. IID as well. Anyways, but I do look forward to this. It's a challenge. I do want to say, like before, I might forget the comments, but I do appreciate like everything since I've gone on here. The learning curve was tremendous. It's difficult. And I think like, all of you guys have been here for me at one point or another. I might be so excited that I forget to say it on Thursday. I know Mayor Nava has been a mentor, like I think more than you had to be. I think, and honestly, before I came on council, folks were like, they had negative things to say to me about you, and then I might have
say anything negative about me. I
right,
don't understand.
not right, but when I met you as a person, and when the interactions that we've had, I just think that there's a big misconception about you out there, and
I don't think so. I got the top vote for years.
right. I mean, whoever was talking to me like that about you, or the big comments, they were wrong. Anyways, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. I'll try to keep it very brief, but there are several things that I do want to mention. I know it's been a long time since our last meeting, but I do want to thank the rodeo committee for the hard work that they put together for that rodeo. It's a tremendous event, a lot of people involved, and a lot of movement. And so really do appreciate them very much and for all they do for the community, because quite honestly, it's that event that drives everything else. It drives a parade. It drives everything else. That is driven by the Chamber of Commerce. And I do want to again recognize the Chamber of Commerce. Tremendous work. And Ramiro, he was here earlier, and he had a staff member quit halfway into the week, and he was really left with like two people, like him and somebody else. And I had a personal conversation with him, and he just had a very, very, very difficult personal time during that week, but he made it through, and I was very happy for him and proud of the fact that he did it. And I did want to just let you all know that people work really hard to make these events happen. We just see it happen, and you enjoy them, and you see the parade just happen, but there's so many organizations involved, from not just like the Brawley City staff, but like the vigilantes that help, form the parade, all the entries, everybody that goes in, the announcers, all the volunteers. There's just so many people. And then, to entertain 12, 13, 14,000 people down Main Street, that's hard work. And nobody recognizes that it takes so many moving parts to come together and then, for everyone to have a good time. Same with the rodeo. That's really a fantastic event, and people, it's a spectacular show.
Yeah.
World class. So, anyway, both organizations, I want to thank them, and do want to recognize my father. He turned 94 years old just a few days ago. We celebrated Thanksgiving a few days late just to kind of honor his birthday, and that was really cool, And so it's without him coming to the United States, like none of us there would have been there. So it's just always incredible to see, just him. And his life and his achievement.
You look so much like him too.
At some points I do, At some points I do really, but no, he's great, and he's 94, and he's still got a full head of hair, and I don't, So, but it happens. It happens, right? And also, the Veterans Day walk. I do appreciate everybody that helped and participated. That was a great event, and I enjoyed the walking conversation. We also attended the BUHS Veterans Recognition. That was, 1,800 students out there and a couple of assemblies, and that was a good thing. Lastly, on a separate topic, and this is more like community cleanup, I am having a meeting tomorrow. George will be there, my tocayo, and he will be there with me along with city staff, and we're going to talk about just some things we can help to do to help clean out some of the areas that are really been hit by vagrants and by homeless, and what we can do, just blighted areas, what we can do to help address it with the property owners, and what we can do as far as community cleanup. It's kind of, I've been working on something for about a year, and I put it down, got tied up with a bunch of other stuff, but now my focus, now that we'll have a new mayor, my focus will be back on at least trying to get one major project lifted for this year. And I think it's going to involve a lot of people, including city staff and everybody else. But I think it's going to help to beautify our community. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing, too, we've seen Wildcat open up and Legion, and those roads are open up. A lot of use, lots of use. So let's continue to go through that expansion. But I also wanted to mention, too, there's a lot of transients out there, and there's also a lot of people that use shopping carts and don't return them, and that's one thing I can't stand. Now, that's not your responsibility. It's not our responsibility. That is Walmart's responsibility, And I blame Walmart because it's their carts out there, And so we have to do something to enforce that, to make sure that they're out there making sure that their carts don't leave their properties, because people leave them, they're everywhere, and it's just creating a nuisance for everybody. So I want to make sure that they are addressed. And I know we often just kind of somebody will collect them after a while, but there should be no reason why they should be leaving their property, And then lastly, I did have a brief conversation with Chief Duran on a couple other topics, but we talked about, we had a previous code enforcement officer, and going back to blighted properties, those sorts of things, because if you drive around Brawley right now, there's a lot of properties out there that look terrible, with trash everywhere.
Yeah, I'm going to cut my grass. I'll cut my
grass.
But
no, it's not even that. But think about it. It's because people oftentimes, they think they're doing a good thing by dropping off a mattress for a homeless person, but it stays there. They make a mess. And, behind my property, everywhere, I've seen them. And then I'm cleaning it up. People that own properties or their homes are cleaning it up. I'm getting calls from residents, and it's not right. It's not something that they should be responsible for. And so those are the things that we need to really, in my view, is that we should have just a marketing campaign to make sure that people are taking care of their community. And that's everybody. That's not the city. That's every single resident. Look after your community, mow your lawn, do all those things that you need to do to beautify your community, but also be responsible. That's why it's important to know Republic Services, they can do the bulk pickups. You don't need to throw your mattress out in the alleyway. You can they'll come pick it up. They'll come pick up a water heater. They'll do bulk items. So you don't need to do that. There's no need for it. You can just have it out. Anyway, I'll go on all night. But thank you all very much for your participation tonight. Thank you, staff. And I appreciate you all very much. And, one last item. And that was a letter we received, and it wasn't under public comment, but it was written to the city council, and it's regarding the parking and enforcement of trailers parking RVs, utility trailers, recreational vehicles like boats, et cetera, on city streets, residential streets. There's a big complaint about that, and if you notice, we've addressed this before, and there's always pushback, but we do have ordinances in place to make sure that this doesn't take place. And now, again, going back to blight in our community, when you have more trailers, more RVs, more all that stuff, it looks awful. It does. It looks awful. You know, go park it somewhere else. I have a motorhome. I don't park it out in front of my house. I park it out in my own lot, and it's put away, you know, out of sight. But people park their things out there, and they have them out there for months on end. So anyway, just another item that was addressed. And there was a request for a processional from St. Margaret Mary's. If you can help me address that, that would be useful. St. Margaret Mary's to Sacred Heart Church. And I think it was denied, so it's December 12th, and we'll see what can be pulled together. Anyway, all right, thank you all very much. City Attorney's report.
Okay, so great news. We're still just waiting. We're going to do a closed session right now because there's nothing to talk about.
Beautiful.
We're waiting for the judge's decision on the city's motion to be reimbursed for some or all of its attorney's fees.
Nice.
We said it on this case. We hear it's looking good, but we haven't heard from the judge yet.
Very well. Thank you. And our next regular meeting is December 19th, but we will have a special meeting, and that is December 7th, and that is the reorganization where Mayor Pro Tem Castro will be our new mayor, and Councilmember Wharton will be the next Mayor Pro Tem. And so looking forward to that, and should be an exciting year. A lot of great stuff has happened, and we'll hear more about it on December 7th, this Thursday at 6 o'clock here. All right. Thank you all very much. Meeting adjourned.